There was a time when I thought that I needed to do more to fix my life. More routines, more goals, and more productive hacks. But what actually helped me was not adding more, it was letting go. And I started to quitting the habit that secretly drains my energy and peace. And in this video, I'm sharing the habits that I let go of. The first one is just watching self-development videos. I used to spend hours on watching self-development videos on YouTube. And when I was in college, this was one of my hobbies. And don't get me wrong, the content was amazing. It would inspire me and make me feel like I was about to change my entire life. But then I had to move on next video. No action, no reflection, just passive motivation. I had watched 3 videos in a row and was like, yeah, that was so true. But then closed the app and continued living the same way. So I made a very small change. I started keeping a book besides me. Anytime I watched a video, I had write down the key points. I started to reflect this with my life. I asked myself the questions like how I can use this to change my life. Like if they're talking about habits, I connect it with my daily habits. And now I'm not just hearing random advice. I was holding it against my own life, seeing what fit and what didn't, and what needed to change. And I changed from being just inspired to how I can use to change my life. Stayed in friendship that didn't feel right. I stayed in friendship that didn't feel right, not just because of the connection or the support, but because I was too afraid to be alone. I used to think that having a group, if it doesn't align with who I am becoming, is much better than being alone. But the truth is that being surrounded with the people who doesn't value you, who doesn't understand you, is feeling much lonelier than you are by on your own. And I had find myself shrinking in conversation and laughing at the things that I actually didn't find funny. And to be honest, that kind of pretending was really exhausting. Eventually, I had to be true with myself. I realized that I was trying to fit into something. So I quit that friendship. Silence that came after I quit them was not empty. It was full of reflection and questions. I started asking myself, does this friendship feel safe? Do I feel heard, respected, understood? And when the answer was no, I didn't force myself anymore. I stopped being friends with someone out of fear. First, it was really uncomfortable. But later, that emptiness was filled with right people who understand me, who values me, and who support me. Moreover, it was surrounded by the people I don't have to perform around. And as I look back, I realized that how much energy I have wasted on wrong people just to feel accepted. And next point is stressing over things. I stress over things like why everything didn't go as I planned, what happened if someone misunderstood me. I had obsessed, I had overanalyzed and tried to predict everything. But then I realized that no matter how hard I try, I cannot control everything. Because people are unpredictable, so the outcomes may be surprising. But now I am way more intentional about protecting my mental health. And I learned to redirect that energy into what is in my control. Like how I can take control of myself, how I can respond. And to be honest, I don't master it. Sometimes my brain still wants to obsess over the things. But now I remind myself, I don't need to carry what is in mind. If it's out of my hand, it doesn't belong in my mind either. And it's not about pretending everything is fine. It's about protecting your energy and your peace. And next one is procrastinating decision. I used to put off making decision, even the smallest one, because I was scared of making wrong decisions. I had sitting in between and asking people for their opinion and overthinking, overanalyzing. But then I realized that delaying a decision doesn't make it easier. So I shifted my mindset that not making a decision is a decision. And I had to realize that clarity comes from action, not by sitting and stressing. So I started asking myself, what is the best move I can make from what I know right now? And I had to do it. Another thing is that people are not always right. They don't know everything about you. I used to ask people for relationship advice, career choices, and I used to think that they have all the answers. But the truth is that no one knows me better than the way I know about myself. They might give well-meaning advices, but they don't live in my shoes. And your life feels lighter when you don't pending decisions pile up in your head. And next point is keeping unwanted things. Things I kept just because I convinced myself that I will need them in future. It was like holding on to things that didn't serve any purpose in my life, but that filled every corner of my house. And I thought that keeping more meant being more prepared. But in reality, all that extra stuff made my life way more chaotic. And I had spent hours in cleaning my home just to become clutter again next day. Now I only keep what I actually love and what I actually need. And now life feels way too lighter, not just physically, but mentally also. Because we naturally crave order and clarity, especially in our environment. Because when your space is clear, your senses are not overstimulated and your brain can focus what really matters. Because it doesn't have to constantly process visual noise. So you feel way more in control, and which can reduce your stress and anxiety. And the last one is the constant notification. I didn't realize how much control my phone had over my focus until I turned off the notification. Every sound, every red note, it was pulling my attention in a million directions. I was supposed to check one message, but I lose my 30 minutes jumping from app to app and scrolling. I felt like I'm busy all the time, but not doing nothing real. And every time I had a moment of silence, I reached for my phone without even realizing it, and it became my habit. And every single text that triggers a feeling, I had to respond it now. It made me more scattered and not present with myself, my goals, or my schedule. So I turned them off, all of them. I started checking my phone when I wanted to, not when it demanded me to. So quitting this habit was not easy, but it made a huge difference in my life. And I stopped complicating my life and created more space in my mind. And any of this habit hit you, it's time to ask yourself, what can I let go of to feel more like me again?